We all say we want to be in a relationship or a friendship with people who can hear us, they can feel us, and they can see us, right? But what often happens is we get into those relationships with people and then we want to run away. Or we start telling ourselves a story that, well, it can't possibly be this good, or there's got to be something wrong with this person, or, oh, the vibe is off. Have you ever thought that maybe the vibe is off with you because your nervous system is actually used to a particular way of operating? Our egos, our shadow, our nervous system, it's embedded in our body that we have accepted a certain way of living for a long time. It's not that we like drama. It's not that we want to keep having drama come into our life, but it's the vibration of that within our nervous system because we have been carrying our lives that way. And you're going to start to notice that you're going to feel uncomfortable when you actually get into relationships with someone who can hear you and see you. Because you know what happens? Our brain starts to tell us all kinds of stories like, well, it can't be this good. Oh no, they're going to start judging me. They're going to see that I have more work to do. I can't let them see that I have more work to do. I can't let them see that I'm not perfect. And we have this whole snowball effect of emotions that go on. And then we tell ourselves that we can't be in a relationship with this person and we can't talk to them and they're not our friend. And then once again, we're still searching for something. But what you're really searching for is that thing inside of yourself where you can actually feel all of those things and recognize that those are just stories and that your nervous system needs to get used to a new way of being. Now, I say this and it kind of sounds like it might be not complicated, but it is kind of complicated. I can remember getting into a relationship after my divorce where I did just that. It was so great, so wonderful, and I ran away from it for a short time because I didn't know how to process it. Even though I'd done so much work on my own and I had this knowledge that I had and I'd been putting into practice, when you put it into practice with another person, that becomes an entirely different game altogether. And it really comes down to sitting with those uncomfortable feelings. So when somebody does hear you and see you and actually feel you, but they might say something that triggers you to feel uncomfortable, that is an opportunity for you to actually do some healing because that trigger is your trigger. They might not actually be trying to hurt you. It's just that a certain string of words, you've heard that before from someone else or in some other part of your life that really triggered you with this deep wound. Well, now you have an opportunity to bring that deep wound to the surface for some healing. But that means that you have to stop yourself and then ask, is this person trying to actually hurt me, or is there an opportunity for me to heal here? And always to ask yourself those questions first. And the best way to do it is when somebody triggers you to say to them, hey, you know what? Something you said that made me feel really uncomfortable. That really triggered something in me and I feel hurt or I feel sad, I feel angry, whatever it is that your emotion is. And then see what their reaction is. Now, if they get defensive and they don't want to talk to you about it, then perhaps it's, good for you to step back even further so that you can examine yourself to say that, oh, maybe they didn't really hear me and see me or feel me. They were just coming from wherever they're coming from, or maybe you are attracting the same kind of person into your life, but you won't know that unless you stop yourself and then ask them those questions and try to ask them and say, I was triggered. There isn't anything wrong with us asking for other people to listen to what we're triggered about, as long as we're not making them responsible for the trigger, because we don't actually know if that's what they were trying to do or if they were trying to hurt us. Often I hear people say to me, oh, well, that vibe is off with that person. Well, of course, when you are at a place where your nervous system is and someone else's nervous system is not at that level, the vibe is going to feel off. But is it you or is it them? And you don't really know unless you stop, because sometimes we are looking for threats where none exist because maybe we have been traumatized as a child and we carried this and it's been continuing on into our adult life. And sometimes we're looking for threats where they don't exist. And that's where we really have to stop ourselves and go, is this person a threat to me? Or is it just that I'm triggered to feel this because they actually have a supportive energy? Because a supportive energy can actually trigger us to heal those really deep wounds that are inside. I know that sounds strange. That's kind of the way it is. So we have an opportunity to heal. And sometimes we have boundaries, right? We put up boundaries because we have people in our lives that we need to have boundaries from, or we're going through transitions in our life where we have to create boundaries, and boundaries are okay. But very often we spend so much energy keeping those boundaries up, which keeps people out, that we don't realize we're even doing that. that you don't need it. If you already know what your boundary is, you will know that when somebody tries to cross it, you can put that boundary up. You don't have to keep the boundaries up all the time around yourself, because it wastes a lot of energy. And it makes you really tired to do that, because then you feel like everything is a threat to you everywhere. But if you know what you will and you won't accept, or even to understand that when you do have a boundary and somebody doesn't want to meet that's okay. You can walk away from that. You don't have to be a part of that. But it's always where communication comes in, because we want to make sure that we're not keeping people out when we actually want people to be in. But it takes discernment to actually know how that feels in your body and how that's manifesting in